And now, to discuss it all, the 5AA Sports Show with the top team in town, Stephen Rowe and Chris McDermott.
And good afternoon. Welcome to the 5AA Sports Show. Rowey and Bone with you. Crows fans, be honest. Who gave up? Who switched off the radio? Come on, be honest. What a win and how exciting. We'll get to that. Port again, a slow start. I thought they had a crack, so to tell us all about it, we've got Robbie Gray from Port. We got Sean McKernan from the Crows, Robbie Walls. But most importantly, your calls, 8223 0000 is the sport line number. Bone.
Crows were fantastic, Rowey, you're right. What a way to start and finish the round this weekend. The massive game with Sydney on the Friday night, the Crows game on the Sunday night, and just struggling all the way through and just thought, they're not going to get there, they're not going to get there, they're not going to get there. Into time on of the last quarter, 20 minutes, 54 seconds, they are 4 goals down. 4 goals down, found a couple of heroes, Jared Petrenko and Sam Kerridge. A star was officially born. A star was officially born.
Well, like you said, 1 point winners over the Kangaroos. I thought all day they were the stronger team. Around the packs, they had a better method and spread. They nailed in tackles. They were 39 points up in the second quarter. If you look at all the stats, the Crows lost centre square clearances, stoppages by -10, hit-outs -21. That's a world record. Tackles inside 50, you name it. Yet they found a way to win. You said this stat in the call, 120 minutes and 24 seconds the game went for. The Crows led for 1 minute and 4 seconds of it. So how do you review that? Because you know what? They got the 4 points, they found a way to win, but they weren't the better team.
I want to take the euphoria from the win and build on the euphoria and the spirit and the guts fighting back to win like that with your number one ruckman's out. The effort of Sean McKernan in the second half, I thought he was outstanding. Really unlucky not to be in the votes. The effort of a Sam Kerridge, outstanding. To kick 6 goals. I mean, to kick 6 goals, small forward, 24 touches, the composure that he had. For Jared Petrenko to top off such a massive week for the Indigenous community and kick the winning goal. I mean, there were great little stories all the way through. Brenton Sanderson has got to take the positive, not brush over the negative, but you can't dwell on the negatives from that game because there were some, I agree, but the positive far outweighs them all.
I think Paddy was right. He said in the Brecky team they'll review it as if they lost, and they've got to do that. You're right. Take the positives out of it. Was it a season-defining win? Was their belief, that never give in, stick your structures, game style was terrific? Was it season-defining? And the reason I say it, your Sunday Mail column, the honeymoon officially ends today for Brenton Sanderson. That was how you wrote up.
Yep. And
you said, are they contenders or pretenders? For me, I still don't know the answer to that. What about you? That's your article on the Sunday Mail.
Yeah, it was. You know what? They are super fit and they are a hard team and they know how to win. So that makes them more of a contender than a pretender. I think North Melbourne now have got to be called pretenders almost. 4 games by under a kick. So I've got some extra faith in the Crows after that win. It was a courageous, gutsy, ticked a lot of box win for mine. Yes, not good. Yes, some improvement still, but I'll take that as another step up the ladder.
8223 0000. We have heaps of doubles for the Crows Freo game at Amy, Saturday afternoon. Crows got out of jail, no question. They won what I'm calling the impossible. How do you review it? Do you move on or do you review it correctly as if they lost? How exciting was it? Was it the Crows' best win ever? And be honest with us, Crows fans, because we didn't get to speak to you after the game, okay? Who gave up? Who gave up?
Well, I'm sure there were a few. I'm not quite sure in the commentary box we did, but it was very close. Speaking to people at AA today, how many people said they sat there on the couch with their kids? A couple have had 3 kids, 2 kids, sitting there watching the game, and then all started hugging each other, jumping around after the game. The euphoria of that win, you've got to build on the euphoria of that win. That's the stuff that can set your season up, yet who's here this Saturday? Fremantle are here. They've had exactly the same big win over there, or good win over there. Yes, it was Melbourne, but it's still another good win.
Keep it going.
So, the opposition is still winning as well. The Crows wins this year. I don't know if you looked at it. They've beaten 13, 14, 15, 16
and 18. Yeah. We got a text for that, 1999 1394. Well, good on you, Rowe and Bone. Love it when you Crows supporters get carried away with the win. Do you realise they're the teams you've beaten? Now he's right with that, but North Melbourne are a better team than 13.
No doubt. No, North Melbourne are a kick away from being a top 4 team. I mean, to run all those good sides to within in a kick, and the Crows are one. North Melbourne are a lot better than their position on the premiership ladder.
So have you say, Crows fans, how exciting was it? Was it the Crows' best ever win in a home and away game? Who gave up? Now, you've got to be honest with that one, 8223 0000. Put on the other hand, 4 weeks, the trend continues, Bone. The slow starts are killing them. At times they were uncompetitive, I thought, on the weekend. Geelong kicked 9 goals from Port's direct turnovers. Again, that's a trend. They're having to play catch-up footy, which is hard to do. The team defence has dropped off. Stoppage work, they're getting smashed.
Kenny Hinckley's got to do something and do it now before this gets out of hand, out of control. And they got a big road trip up to Darwin this weekend. They were terrible. There's not too many other words. You can't say anything nice about that performance. It was over by quarter time, non-competitive, poor at stoppage, nothing in the air, beaten at ground level. It was a performance they cannot be proud of. Cannot be proud of.
Positives, I thought, Chad Wingard, the rise and rise of Robbie Gray with his form. We'll speak to him. They won the last quarter, and they never gave up. We'll give them all of that. I want to talk about John Butcher. He has to play this week. I hope they back him in. Did you see his game?
Yeah, I saw it.
Not good. We got a text straight away on that too, 199 What did Jack Odie always say? If you can't kick, you can't play. That's from Ted. Ted, look, you're right. And he's got to get that right, because if he can't kick and convert, he won't have an AFL career. But I hope they back him in, Bone, for at least another 2 weeks.
We've seen his best, and his best is really good. And his best will inspire this team. And you know what? Jay Schulz can't do it on his own. We've seen Jay Schulz at the moment, who is battling against the odds to hold up and end as a tall forward. He needs help now. And is Johnny Butcher that help? Well, he's your best option for it. So I like the idea. I didn't like the execution. And he looks emotionally fragile to me, Johnny Butcher, at the moment. You can understand why. Not getting a kick in local comp, let alone in the AFL.
He had poor form in the SANFL.
It's terrible form. And I know you were fascinated by his kicking, or lack of ability to kick. And in the last quarter, when he handballs off to Jay Schulz and lets him kick it, is a fair indication where his head is. I want him to crack in for another. He has earned the right to have another week.
Yeah, well, here's what Ken Hinckley had to say about Johnny Butcher.
I thought Butch looked lively. I thought Butch looked like he was offering us something. Disappointingly, he didn't finish his work, but to have a power forward with his speed to get off the mark and find the ball is an enormous positive for us. He was much better today at AFL level than he has been the last couple of weeks at SANFL level. And I thought today he showed glimpses to everyone what's in Johnny Butcher, and we're really bullish about the future for him. It is going to be the question that every time he kicks like he does today, it's going to come straight up. Got to get with his coaches, get out on the ground and work on his craft. He's going to be a quality player for us, and we just got to work hard to make sure his game gets rounded enough that when he gets that ball in his hands, having a shot at goal, he's confident to take it.
So what do you think, Port fans? 82230000. Johnny Butcher, confidence is shot. You back him in again this week. I hope they do. All I'd say about Ken Hinckley and his coaching panel, they rewarded a bloke that hasn't had good form in the SANFL. Now, up to this point, their selection has always been good, consistent, hard SANFL footy. I reward you. And that's a message that they've sent. They've now put a bloke in over the top of two others, and we spoke about it being
Friday.
Daniel Stewart and obviously a couple of others. That's going to need management, I think, within the group.
To convince them why they did it and with the story behind it. Yeah, I agree. I think they're the real tipping point in the season, Port Adelaide. And I know we don't want to hear it. We don't want to talk about it again because it's opening up old war wounds. But this is a tipping point game for them this weekend. This is a game they have to win, go to war, win at all cost mentality, just get over, find a way to win. And I think the players need to grab themselves and get behind a closed door and thrash this one out because they've lost their grunt. Yep. They've lost their grunt big time. They need to find it, and they've got about a week to do it.
Is Bone right? 82230000. What do Port need to do to win? Look, it was Indigenous round. Here's a good one. Does lightning strike twice? I think it does, Bone. Can you remember that Port mowed down North Melbourne in that last quarter? Remember when Paul Stewart kicked the goal? I think it was round 8. They won by 2 points. That was Indigenous round. Guess what happened this week?
Oh, dear.
In Indigenous round, an Adelaide team, the Crows, mowed down North Melbourne.
Wow.
Can you believe that? You believe that? And just one last one. No one condones in any form of racism. And look, we all should stand up together to fight it. And we have. And Adam Goodes did. All I would say on the whole incident, in hindsight, that it's a 13-year-old girl, uneducated on racism, not knowing that calling somebody an ape is racist. And we've spoken to her mum, the grandmother, we've heard Eddie Maguire, even Adam Goodes said that very thing. The question I would ask, did Adam Goodes overreact? Do we want to see players in games, during games, grabbing security guards and pointing to people in the crowd and saying, I want them thrown out? Could have that been handled differently? Could have it been handled differently, Bone?
Well, I think the answer to that is probably yes. Does that make it better or worse? I'm not sure there's an answer to that. And try and put yourself in Adam Goodes' shoes. It's
Indigenous round.
Understand and all of that stuff. So he's probably listening for it. He's heard it. Does he know it's a 13-year-old girl when he reacts like that? He probably knows it's a girl. I'm not sure he knows she's 13. argument for, argument against. And I think what we've seen with Adam Goods is that knowing what he knows now, his stance has softened a little bit and he's become protective of the girl now. So he's a class, you're right, he's a class act. He is a dead set class act. The footy community has supported him, but at the same time, from Eddie Maguire, the footy community is also supporting the girl. It's a chance and a platform for them to talk about the issue, to make it better. It wasn't a great moment for football, though. It wasn't a great moment for the game.
No, look, it wasn't. But do we want to see players during games getting security guards and throwing out individuals? I say let officials deal with that. Players play, officials deal with it. Because otherwise, it's just going to get messy. That's all I'm saying.
If it's an 18-year-old bloke, 25-year-old bloke who does exactly the same thing, what do you do? Are you happy for them to gloss over him and come back and get him after the game? Or do you want him dealt with differently?
In contrary, if it was a 25-year-old male with tattoos and no front teeth that yelled that out, he knows better.
Right.
And you'd be happy for a player or players to back it up. But still, you've got to play the game. Do we want to see our players stopping midstream, going over, grabbing security? I just don't reckon that was a good look. Adam Goods is there to play. He's there to play.
Correct.
And security guards and people and that 1999 number you got on the screen are there to out any wrongdoing. And I think leave it to them to do it. I don't want to see this happen again.
No, I don't think anybody. But if everyone's missed it, do you leave it and it goes on? I guess that's the issue.
You report it after the game.
And you've let the girl, and the moment's gone, the girl's gone, and so she's out of reach.